Good morning, and welcome to the Deal Room Live, the daily real estate deal tank powered by Titan Impact Group, a global leader in AI-driven real estate investing and funding, where the real estate world meets speed, precision, and profit. And bring us your deal so we can put it into our AI model that analyzes and structures real estate deals in minutes, generates all the docs you need to get the deal done, and gives you a verified, unbiased breakdown of due diligence report. The investors get the advantage of getting fully vetted AI analyzed deals that cut their due diligence time down by 60%. So you're in the right place. Let's open the deal room now and get into today's opportunity.
Yesterday with Nico, and Nico is we're figuring out how to incorporate the investor's personality profile into his program of creating the goals, and then turning it into a subliminal message that you listen to every single day. Nice. And what I like about his program is that he wraps it into a KPI dashboard. So you can literally track what's actually happening with you over 75 days of listening to this continuously.
Nice.
Really freaking cool stuff.
That's super cool.
So yeah. How you doing, Katya?
Good morning. I'm good. How about you?
It's good to see you. I see your little puppies.
Yes, they're always here. They're the sidekicks.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, they're talking about me. I'm gonna stand up.
I'm gonna pause.
So cute. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
She's the best. I've had her since I was 11 years old. So in order to get her, I had to get straight A's in elementary school. I had to do 50 hours of dog exposure. So I would walk the neighbors' dogs, I would dog sit, and I would help owners with their training. And then I had to come up with $500 for her deposit. So
your parents are awesome.
Dude, no kidding.
So I did that, and now I got her, and I think this whole level of appreciation because I worked so hard for her. But We've gone to hospitals together. We've done rehabilitation for adults with mental disabilities.
Wow.
We've done rehabilitation for animals. We travel all over the world. We're all over the country. So she's my sidekick.
That's incredible.
And now we're doing investing together.
I love it. You'll have to write a whole story.
Yeah. She's your board of advisors. You know, Kisaki goes, I need to go check with my partners. It's like his cat. Early on, it was his cat. He's like, I have to go talk to my partner and make sure that they're aligned on this. And he's like, I'd go home and have the whole conversation with my cat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's funny.
Yeah. I was like early on in his for funny. He's like, as long as you just tell people you got to check it with your partners and your board. It'd be your cat. It's fine.
How's it going with you guys?
Super busy, just, with all the things. So deals closing, all that. I think we're supposed to be having somebody join us on the podcast today. At least that's what it says on the schedule.
Okay.
RWA demo. I'm not really sure what this is. So, it's a different Zoom link.
It didn't. Come on.
So you have something on your calendar called RWA demo with a different Zoom link. On your calendar, you have right now.
I know. I can't find it because I got a bunch of added stuff from my phone, so everything's messed up on. I don't know what's what. I have the thing on there for Laura to look at. You can send the notebook down on, so pull that up. Yeah, I have the link. Let me terminate the call and I'll jump on there. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. So this call is with a guy that creates fractional real estate. So that's why I booked the call for 9 o'clock so that we could kind of talk about that for a little bit. So Block Gemini. Basically what we're doing is we're talking with companies about, you don't have to get rid of it, but we're talking with companies about their ability to do fractional real estate. So let's give these guys about 10 minutes, see what they're talking about. Can we shut the doors? Because the AC's on and it's like,
it was screaming hot when I got here, so that's why I left it open.
You love this platform, the art of.
Yes, absolutely. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, Tommy. Just like usual Friday, to be honest.
Very good.
Waiting for the weekend. So, of course, a little tiring on the 5th day of the week,
Right. Understood. So yes, let's get into the context of this call if we don't mind.
See, Tommy, why I call you because I, you had previously inquired about our, RWA platform, and it was like, I think maybe last year, my Monday.com isn't showing the exact date. I'm so sorry for that. But I think it was just a second. I'll let you know in my update section. That date was September 2025.
Okay.
You remember you had inquired about RWA platform, real world assets platform, and looked like you were interested in this. So, Tommy, I want to know more about this Titan Impact and like how is it like? Is it a real estate company? Yeah, with robust blend of real estate development strategy and healthcare leadership, you're majorly into real estate, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, no, we're into real estate. So that I got a better understanding of what the context of this call is. You guys do fractional real world assets, so that basically creating cryptocurrency. Is that through NFTs or coins? What are you doing? Okay.
Let's suppose you're identifying, which your LinkedIn page just says, you identify real estate properties, and then you try to build a real estate on it, research on all real estate. So what is this tokenization thing coming up is like typical buying and selling happens is like people come and buy an individual properties. But now what is happening is that an individual property which is not getting sold because it requires an individual owner to buy it. So that the new way of selling it is tokenizing it. So rather than one person buying it, it will be a couple of users will be buying it, just like shares is being rolled out in the market.
Right. Well, and again, just for expediency purposes, the concept is not new. It's got a new format to it, but it was called tenancy in common. You could have up to as many members as you want in that situation, and then there was also securitization where you just create a Reg A or a Reg A plus company, sell 35 positions. And divide divide the value of the property into units and then sell it to 35 investors. So what we're looking for is when you say tokenization, you're referring to some sort of ETF, correct?
That ETF is what we are doing is like we are giving you a platform on which it comprises of an user interface, buyers and sellers interface.
Okay.
Interface. So you will be the owner of the platform and you can list down all the properties whom you want to tokenize. It can be your individual properties, but obviously this is not for an individual person. You would like all the people to list their properties on this platform being a seller, and then users would be anyone sitting in US, France, India. They could just go and create an account and start buying tokens into that property. Once they start buying the tokens, they'll be divided into X number of shares. When all the shares has been bought, that particular property will get funded. So you take control of that property, you invest it. You use it, you lease it, you give it to, for hotel purpose, you give it for business purpose. You make money out of that, and in return, you pay yield, rental yields to your investors. So this is the way it works.
Right, understood. So you guys help us build the platform for that. Do you guys do any of the? Got it.
Platform which we white label it. People who are interested, we white label this platform so that they can be owner of this platform. They can advertise this platform, and they can get maximum number of properties on the platform and market it so that people can just go ahead and they can buy shares in the property or tokens into that property.
What's the price on that?
So originally it was very expensive, to be very honest, but we're trying to scale it. So I can give you it around for 100K, and the platform is deep, real deep.
All right. Do you have an example of this?
Yeah, I was about to give you a demo, but you are on your phone. Will you be able to see it? I was all prepared to give you a demo. Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm not available to actually get a demo right now. I like to do a discovery call before I invest my time into people's products and demonstrations. So I go through a vetting process of if we can even have a conversation or communicate with each other before I try to learn from you. So I do apologize if this interrupts your standard practice, but I don't waste time with people that I can't talk to. But you are easy to talk to, and I feel like we could probably do a demo. So let's jump on a call again. What's the best way? Will you be able to send me a link and I can schedule for this demo?
I can shoot you a WhatsApp message, maybe.
Yes.
You want to today or Monday?
No, Monday or Tuesday next week would be great.
Monday, let me check so just can I won't take long. Monday say.
Actually, can we do Tuesday? I think I got more time on Tuesday. Let's do 9:30. Yep.
Tuesday 9:30.
Thank you, sir.
I'll send you an invite on the WhatsApp to check that and give me an acknowledgement. That really helps.
Very good. We'll do it.
Thank you, Tommy. Have a nice day ahead. Happy weekend. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. We got Jermaine out there in the lobby. Somebody wants to bring him up.
He's
Driving.
declining. I've already been inviting him. He's declining.
I just seen it down there.
Yeah,
Good
no,
morning,
thanks.
everybody. How we doing today?
Good morning.
morning.
Good.
Nice. I appreciate everyone letting me take that call. And I hope you guys get lessons from this. I don't book these calls to be disrespectful to anyone. I book these calls during this time to give people insight on how to have conversations with people on the phone. Like you can sit there and talk to that guy for an hour very easily. Like he's super easy to talk to, right? And what that does is since I know my worth, I know my personal value of how much I need to create in an hour financially. I can't afford to give that guy an hour, no matter how nice he is, right? Because I make a lot of money per hour. So in order to be consistent with what I'm trying to accomplish, I want to have that conversation with the guy and get through it to see if yes, I'll watch your demo, especially if I'm going to pay $100,000 for it,
Right.
right? So, but basically, what he was describing, if anybody's confused, he's going to create a white label platform that we can take our $4 billion worth of properties and put them into a marketplace and allow people to micro invest into them, right? So that we can raise capital. What we might do is say, for example, we have a $100 million data center. I'll break off 30% of that, call it $30 million, and we'll raise $30 million through this platform. And that $30 million will act as our 30% down on the property. Or on the project. Excuse me. I can raise 70% in debt. So what I created was a 70-30 mezzanine is what it's called. You know what a mezzanine is? It's like the upper level, right?
Yeah.
So on mezzanine capital says it's a mixture of debt and equity because debt has a superior seat to equity. And so if I have debt equity and I'm 70-30 like that, my mezzanine, right, is debt here and equity here. That is what they would call risk secure to the bank because they have 70% in debt. And so then if they had to foreclose, they're only having to foreclose on 70% because they already own 30% in debt or in equity, right? So if they had to consume it because we sold it at fractional to other people, if they had to consume that, they're just consuming the equity partners. They're not consuming any liquid equity, they're consuming equity partners. And so it's beneficial again to the bank to loan on that 70%. That's why they do 70% LTV. So it's one of the reasons why I took the call with the guy. I originally thought he was somebody that could help us tokenize our real estate. And when I mean tokenize, I literally mean like create fiat, create cryptocurrency. We're working with somebody on that in another level. Real quickly, I want to jump over to another lesson. So did everybody kind of get a good idea on how to talk to somebody, how to quickly get through a phone call? Give me your call to action, and then let's get another call when I can sit down clearly and learn and not be like, what's the sticker shock? Oh my God, $100,000. I can be in cortisol storm right now over being told I gotta come up with $100,000. So it's pointless to do a demo when all I'm doing is judging you. Is this really worth $100,000? So if I want to have a clear mind when I do this demo, I can't be in the cortisol storm of sticker shock, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but anytime somebody's like, give me $100,000, this left ear starts on fire. It gets hot, literally.
Starts twitching.
Do you see how red it is right now? Seriously, like that's a condition. See, white, red, white, red, right? So these are signs that I know that my cortisol is elevated. And it's because somebody just told me, give them $100,000. I feel like I'm at a bank getting robbed. He didn't do anything. So anyway, to actually jump to that point, Catherine, do you have that image that I sent you this morning of the, anybody here heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yep.
I got to cover this real quick. I'm going to spend like 5 minutes doing this because it's super simple. As a registered nurse, they taught us this protocol. I call it learning how to or actually thinking like an Egyptian is what I call it. Thinking like an Egyptian, because it's a pyramid. It's a triangle, right? And so this hierarchy of needs is broke into a triangle. We'll pull it up here. Where did that?
It's you.
Oh, anyway, the pyramid or the hierarchy of needs has 5 basic levels. Okay, and Catherine and I operate on 5 basic pillars: the physical realm of humanness, the mental realm of humanness, the emotional realm of humanness, the spiritual realm of humanness, the financial realm of humanness, right? And so we all have these standard pillars of humanness. And then Maslow, who's a theorist, he's a psychological theorist, he came up with this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he just so happened to put it into a pyramid where it starts at basic physiological needs and goes all the way up to self-actualization, or what I would call the spiritual pillar, right? So if we're all trying to achieve a spiritual pillar, I made a what do they call it? It's not evidence, but it's not evidenced by, but it's a correlation. I made a correlation actually between the 5 pillars of humanness and the 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy. And so if you guys can see this, like the physiological needs are water, air, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, right? And it goes up from there to the safety, to the loving and belonging, to the esteem, and to the self-actualization. And so just like the pillars of humanness, of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial, there's a direct correlation to this. So in the physiological needs, that's physical in a lot of ways, but it talks about resources. So to me, physiological needs falls into my financial pillar, right? Because then safety needs are personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. That to me is a physical state, right? If it's a physical pillar. Love and belonging, of course, then that becomes kind of like my emotional state, right? And then my esteem is my mental state, and then spiritual state is going to be my self-actualization. So everything relies on my financial or my resources, because financial pillar is more about resources, right? Having resources of air, food, water. If we didn't rely on currency and money and cash, Catherine likes to call it oxygen. There it is right there. It's in the first physiological situation. So when you rely on money to be your air, then unless you have money, you have no air. And if you have no air, you're going to suffocate, which means that you're never going to get to the top, right? But here's the other dangerous thing that we do sometimes. When it comes to, like, say, for example, the safety needs. Safety needs are a physical situation. If we ignore that physical situation, let's just say we move it completely out of the way. We take a pillar out of the 5, move it out of the way, it weakens the pillars, right? We understand that. But what happens when you do this in a pyramid? If you eliminate that, move it away, these 2 or 3 up here all collapse down into the physiological needs, right? So if you remove safety, what's the physical barrier does, and this is why I tell people you got to behave your way into good thinking. You can't think your way into good behaving. That's what grandma used to say. You better behave your way into good thinking, boy. So because grandma would straighten you up with the wrong decision. You got physically beat to get a better idea about what to do. Like, that's why they would slap you or beat you, was to make you quit thinking like, you knew something. So, because they knew better. But when we remove the safety need and love and belonging collapse down into physiological need, this is where we get into toxic relationships. When our esteem falls down into physiological needs and becomes part of our basic needs, like we don't have self-respect, we're giving up our freedoms, we're doing things that go against the pillars, right? Because literally what safety does is it blocks that funnel from collapsing on itself. So it's just an epiphany I had this morning. That's my 5-minute rant. So let's jump into
Cool.
some cool shit today.
No, that was cool.
Katya brought up a good piece of property last week, and then it started bugging her, and it literally is now consuming her safety level in the hierarchy, because she's like, oh my God, we've got to get this. She's down in the she's like, I need the property. So she knows the value of this thing. Let's take a look at it again real quick. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? So here we are right here. This shows an example of what's going on out there along the 202. So the 202 separates Tempe Town Lake, and where this particular spot is, it's kind of interesting because it's zoned industrial. It's zoned industrial. And so when we've looked at this down there, it's pretty close to Tempe, but it's in what's called a county island, right? And then the other thing is it says, or it's advertised that it's located in an opportunity zone, right? So if this property is located in an opportunity zone in a county island, it's almost like having found a leprechaun and the four-leaf clover, right? So
Riding
now
a unicorn. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. What we can do is we can make it a unicorn or create the unicorn, because here's where the beautiful part is. If you look right here in this red, they've done a really good job of highlighting the fact that they just got done building how big? How big is it, Katya?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's pretty big, and it's really successful. Here, let me look it up really quick.
Yeah, I think there's something like 300 plus doors there, or 600 plus doors there, something around that number. Where it's located is in an area where, like I said, you see the Tempe Town Lake. Tempe Town Lake is blowing up. Tempe itself, with Arizona State University right there down the road, this is becoming the tech center of America. There at Silicon Valley is moving to Tempe Town. So this is why Katya is like, I need this property, is because, again, it has the potential to become a Pegasus unicorn, which is way better than just a unicorn, right? Because just a unicorn walks around. A Pegasus one flies around. So and it can poop sprinkles all over the place. So
Tommy, you and your
what I do? Anyway, scroll a little bit. Let's see if there's a few more pretty pictures up there. Nope. Up on top. Is there a way to? I don't see that side. There we go. That little arrow right there. And then hit it again. Oops, it went too far. Go back. So right here on our map, you can see Carvana. And I used to be a commercial realtor, and this is what I would do. I'd go out there and draw all the pretty pictures and show you all the pretty things. You can see right here in this infill right here that this entire area right here has to be redone. And it's coming that way, right? And it's literally coming that way, but it's not. It's called infill. And imagine the game Tetris, right? You ever played the game Tetris? This is Tetris.
Yeah.
Right? This is Tetris. So down here, this 202 loop is our solid baseline. We want to try to continue to build up like that with the solid blocks all the way up. And so you can see right here, they kind of started doing that. But these guys over here, these are called holdout. You got holdouts right here. Anybody ever seen a holdout lot where they've got all these big buildings around and grandma's house right in the middle? Little ass grandma's house.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
With 47 cats on the roof, right? You're like,
refuses to sell.
It's not that she refused to sell. What she did was she sold everything she didn't want anymore.
Right.
Yeah. There
Right?
you go.
And she
She's
said,
just
"But
holding
don't-"
on to the
Holding on, yeah.
And she said, don't kick me out of my house. Let me stay here. So you can see in this yellow drawing right here that going down the side, there's all these like weird buildings and stuff. So let's take a look at what that looks like, because we're going to advance through this and get into why this is an important piece. See this ramp right here? Like that? Goes like that, goes up and around and comes back over here. Right? And comes back up here and comes back through here. And then we could probably come back down here and pop out down here and go back that way again. And what we would need is permission from the county to do that, or the state to do that, right? We would end up having to ask for that. But what we could do is we could create a very easy drive-through lot for semis and trucks going to all these stores, right? So there's a leisure car company right there. You really think leisure car company is going to sell right away? Well, let me get rid of my property. Hell no, right? And these guys ain't going nowhere over here. Public storage ain't going nowhere.
Right.
But you got all these little infill lots All these little ones right here. You know, once you do this over here and you got semi trucks pulling in there, these two guys are going to want to sell. These two guys are going to sell. Then we can Tetris that lot. We got to try to get this one and this one and this one and Tetris this whole lot. Then guess what we get to do? We get to become West Bend apartments, but we can't do West Bend apartments. So we got that whole lot right there, and we got to get rid of Leisure, right? And Leisure ain't going nowhere. So we're going to have to promise them a little corner over here, right there, right? So let's hit the arrow again. This is Katya, you're going to have me staying up at night now.
Yeah. Good job, Katya.
Right. So you can see here, this is probably a business, and they had some storage back here, but that was actually housing back in the day. I'll show you in a minute how. Click on that button again. Big lot, big vacant lot. Just needs to be, we can clear it and park semi trucks out here all day long, right? Click it again, please. So that's the end of the story right there. So let's do this. Let's go grab the flyer on this. There's an executive summary down here. You can see, click on the attachments right there. It's an 11-page report. We're going to download it. And today we're going to make a left turn straight out of Deal Hunter and go right into OZ Wizard 2.0. And I love how they put on here, rare Tempe multifamily development opportunity. You're never going to build multifamily just on that. You need the other stuff. What happened? What I did? Is this my account or your account? It's not going to work. You got to go to the app. You can't do the.
This is the app. This is the app.
Oh, okay, cool. Right there. And we're going to drop in, try and get up. Yeah. Well, before I do that, are you in Deal Hunter or are you in, I want to be in Opportunity Zone GPTs, please. Go to the Explore GPTs, go to the search and type in OZ Wizard 2.0. What happened? OZ Wizard 2.0. Kaboom. Designed by Catherine Bell, right? Hit the plus button, please. Upload the file. And so I did not have the wherewithal to create this in a way that it was going to be just conversational. With this one, we want to actually tell it more and be very concise in the description. So the prompting here has to be a lot more direct. So let's get into that. I found a property on one of our listing sites, and I believe it's in an opportunity zone. It's been labeled that way. Can you review this property before we go too deep? I know it's advertised as a multifamily, but we really want to consider it as an industrial lot and see if we can hold it off from development for a couple of years until the saturation of the area returns to a more favorable position for investors. To confirm, can you actually look up the saturation rate for this zip code and give us a comparison between Phoenix, LA, and Tempe as to what saturation looks like in Tempe for multifamily? I'll go ahead and go dig into this real quick, and we'll wait for you to get back. So much like I made LandShark be more kind of like very elementary, if you will, I made OZ Wizard 2.0 more like a collegiate level, right? So because it operates at collegiate level, it thinks at collegiate level, it does all the things that way. So I don't have to question my thinking moving forward. I can validate it, I can trust it, and then validate it and move on. So it's probably going to be there for a minute. Do you want to jump back over to the thing that we got for Laura? We did her. By the way, did everybody appreciate the Maslow's thing?
Yeah.
So Notebook LM, go over to the Titan LandShark Strategic Business Plan for blah, blah, blah. February 19th, first one there. Boom. We're going to go to the LandShark Investor Playbook over here on Studio. There you go. Click there. Hit the play button up at the top. Play button. Play button. There you go. So this is for Laura. Laura.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. This is your LandShark Investor Business Plan.
Oh, how is this pretty? Look at that.
Uh-huh. Go ahead and hit the next button. So we've got your edge, your risk, and your next 90 days. So creative capital. And again, I want you to keep in mind, this is all AI developed. So this still has to have a human touch put to it. But really at the end of the day, that's the point. Is like, I would love to sit here and spend 6 weeks coming up with this amazing, beautiful presentation, or allow AI to do it, and then I just tweak it. Right. So your edge, your risk, your next 90 days, we're looking at creative capital and values grounding. That's your edge. You're a win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
Your risk is that you can get into analysis paralysis. over structuring things. And then the next 90 days to keep you going that way is the suggestion is momentum with guardrails, right?
Really good. That's actually really accurate.
Perfect. Hit the button. Right here, you are a lot like Pace Morby and Catherine Bell. Oops, did I say that out loud?
Oh, wow.
Your PM means that you're a creative capital innovator mixed with a conscious capitalist. And so when you put those two together, what you end up with is you end up with a powerful tool. But just like with a powerful tool, messy consequences can occur, right? So chainsaw cool until you turn it around and face it the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
So blind spots and countermeasures. Your risks are you like to fix. So we end up with overstructuring. Plan how to fix it is 48 hours decision window. Don't take longer than 48 hours to make a decision. Emotional weight. Define the guardrails once and then execute without relitigating it. Basically, don't change your answers on your test. How many times do you take a test and always change your answers? Who does that? Not me. Raise your hand if you do it. I'm not going to raise my hand because I don't do it. But I know a lot of people that do. And then outsourcing to, if you've ever failed an exam, I 100% guarantee you change more than 3 answers. 100%. It is, I've never seen it ever not happen. And that's stuff that I've never done before. Ask Laura. Outsourcing too fast is to end up, you can end up like what I call over delegating, which basically to me is just like letting everybody do it for you and you waiting for them to perform. I've seen people do that. It don't go too well. So get your experts and then give them a 1-page SOP and say, this is what I need. Boom, done. Next, impact thesis and your return thesis. And then you've got your core lane, right? And so your impact thesis is housing stability. Your entrepreneur enablement and your community uplift are really impactful. And then your return thesis is that you want creative terms, value adds, and optionality, meaning being able to come in, help, and leave. Like I call that the Superman. Save the day and rescue and get out. You're not there to collect any kind of awards. So the core lane is do not chase every asset class. Pick one core lane for the next 12 months and roboto mono. Okay. Be mono robot, right? Roboto mono. So next, the buy box specific sheets. You've got your assets, your market, your deal size, your financial gates, and non-negotiables. And so right here, you can look at your small multifamilies, 8 to 30, or financial seller finance commercial. Now, this is where the property we're about to go look at could fall into an asset class for Laura because, again, it's about the impact, right? So if she was able to create 30 parking spots there versus 30 houses there, it still fits her asset buy box, right? Market 1 to 2 metros max. And so currently she operates in 2, I believe, her own, and then out here, place she's lived, right? So they always say find your flip in your neighborhood. Deal size, is going to be the manageability of the complexity, right? So how complex is it? And then how manageable is that? So if you don't have the bandwidth to run with this, don't do it. Right? If it's going to take you 80 hours a week to accomplish it and you only have 40 hours a week to do it, it's kind of like don't get in the boat, right? So financial gate, making sure that you stress test everything with at least a DSCR of 1.2 and then have a reserve of 6 months PITI, CapEx, and maintenance. So, and then you can use Deal Hunter to discover that. Your non-negotiables, it says it twice, and I think it's because it wants you to read it twice. No perfect luck underwriting. Right? Say it with me. No perfect luck underwriting.
What do they mean by perfect luck? Do you know?
So perfect luck would be like thinking that what you're underwriting is so there's got to be a clean disclosure. So like if you didn't get a clean disclosure and then they disclose something and you're like the thing in Wendon when they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're selling you a company, but we have no company to sell you. Right. It was like, wait a minute, your shit's not an LLC. That's perfect luck. Right. We're like, oh, cool. So now what do we do? Right. And then boom, what we've done is we've ended up in a perfect luck underwriting situation. We had a bad disclosure. So ethical seller treatment was to say, listen, we're just not going to do the deal. The other choice was to say, listen, I'm going to report you to the state as being illegal. Cut your price in half, 50%. See the difference?
Yeah.
Right. So your non-negotiable is I'm not going to do business with somebody who's just unethical. instead of take advantage of somebody who's unethical.
That's ethical. Okay, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's no perfect luck right there. Like I'm not stumbling upon somebody's bad decisions as luck for me.
Yeah.
Right? So if you do that, I can promise you with 150% certainty, you pick up somebody else's bag of shit, it's still a bag of shit.
Yeah. That's karma.
All right, next button. So the things that we're going to use to do these things are sub-twos, wraps, seller financing, and joint venture equity. Pretty simple. If you can't explain it, don't use it.
That's good.
I love it.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, right.
And it's if you can't explain it simply, which is even better.
Right. Kiss, baby, kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Like if you can't keep it simple, sweetheart, move on.
Move on. That's good.
Right. If I ask you what your 5-year plan is and you pull out a freaking calendar, I gotta go.
I'm back.
One sentence, please. Acquisitions, legal, finance, ops, and underwriting are the minimum amount of viable team that you need. So creating the ability to have, say, for the finance, so that you can have the bookkeeping. Guess what? That's what you do great. The legal, pass that on. Acquisitions, move that over. Remember the roboto mono, right? Underwriting, get that through Deal Hunter. And then you move ops over to Katia, who finds unicorns with Pegasus wings.
Maintenance triage. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, right. Where does it say that? Right there.
Under ops.
Triage. Yeah, right there. Maintenance triage. So
Going for maintenance triage.
Yep. Using free estimates right there works too. So next thing, and that's your weekly calendar. Like that's or weekly cadence. It said. So your 90-day execution sprint is going to be to get your foundation built, buy box guardrails and banking, get your financial relationships in place. Your weeks, your 3 to 6 weeks are going to be daily outreach with weekly offers. And then you're going to go 7 to 10 weeks of doing due diligence funding and getting stuff closed. And then your weekly stabilization is going to be your ops planning and your KPIs, daily KPIs. Momentum metric is if you're making offers weekly, if you aren't making offers weekly, you aren't executing. You can literally not close on property until you write an offer. People are like, I don't get any deals. How many offers do you write? None. Like, that's like saying I didn't win the lottery. How many tickets do you buy? None. Literally saying that, I think I just had a stroke in my left ear again. Look. I literally hear that all the time. Next. So,
oh my goodness.
Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, all the way out. Your gates, reserves met, KPI stable, specialists in place. Remember, roboto mono. So, close one deal, then move to systemizing that, close a second deal, commit to scaling that, and then get into expanding prep where you go out and you talk to them more about getting a mini fund established so that we can finance Laura's $1 million flip schedule, right? Next. Case A, doing a sub 2. Case B, doing a seller finance. I love that it provides you with the little, boopity boop in there. Case C, operator partnerships. And case D, a 1031 exchange. So,
hey, how did I know I wanted a storage car wash? That's awesome.
Wow.
That's my dream. I want like 10 of them or 100 of them. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Who made this?
You.
Right.
You did.
Right. Roboto mono. Come on. Next. At the conference, I'm literally going to get I want my pin for my lapel to say Roboto mono. That's what I want. Catherine's not even laughing about it. So defense wins championships. Risk management. So if you are a fan of the 1985 Chicago Bears, you'll know that the only reason why they won was because they had the world's best defense for the 1985 Chicago Bears Super Bowl win against the New England Patriots. And back in 2002, when the NFL became fake, I no longer like the Chicago Bears. But for now, this is a great example. They never won another Super Bowl because they kept going out buying quarterbacks. And the quarterbacks don't live on freaking defense. So quarterback ain't going to win your games, but the defense will, because they do one thing. They keep the other team from scoring points. So you cannot win while the other team's scoring points. So what that means for you is risk management is the biggest thing. Deal controls and ops. right? And sticking to these things. Go to the next plan. Virtual executive board. And these are the pressure tests that our executive board
I like how this is so cute.
came up with it. So Cardone wants to make sure you can scale. Kawasaki wants to make sure you can cash flow. Morby wants to make sure you got creative terms. Sanchez is asking you, is this contrarian logic? When you're talking about a car wash next to a storage place, 100% makes sense. Catherine Bell is always asking, do you have ethics, right? You got Steve Trang. I need to put the G in his name because he keeps leaving it out. Operations plan. And then, of course, you've got our friend over there, Gary Keller, who's always asking, what's the one thing? What's the one thing? So, because Gary Keller is all about systems, hit the next button, please. And we'll wrap this thing up. So you got your weekly KPI scorecard. Leads, 50. Offers, 5. Reserves, you got to have them. Occupancy, 98%. Roboto mono. Decision memo. For every 48 hours. Within 48 hours. Structure proposed agreement. Check your base and your stress. If the ethics check, if the offer checks, if the actions check, make the offer roboto mono. So remove emotion and force discipline.
That's good too.
Because emotion, ready for this? If you remove the A and remove the E from emotion, it's just motion, right? And so you can't change your feeling until you get into motion, right? Emotion means moving into the feeling, right? Emotion is moving into a feeling. And so what you can end up with is if you put a D there, you can end up in demotion, right? Or what you can also do is remove the E and call it motivation, right? Because emotion is what triggers motivation. That's why it says to remove it, because motivation doesn't work as good as discipline, which is consistency.
Yeah.
And when you have consistency, you'll have results. Have you ever gone to the gym and been super motivated and then went home and died for 4 days because you overworked out?
Yes.
Right? And then you can't move and then like you're like, oh, I never want to go to the gym again. Well, duh, because you did it with emotion. If you actually do it with just discipline, consistency, lower the rates. You're not going to get like Arnold Schwarzenegger big in one day. So lower the weights, increase the reps, and go every single day for 30 days. Guess what? You're going to have way better results than the going every 5 days because you beat your own ass every single time you go. Next, your goal is not the most clever deal. It's the most repeatable, ethical, and scalable deal. End quote. Roboto mono. So disclaimers, this is educational guidance only, not legal or financial advice. We reference the IRS fact sheet FS 208818 for like-kind exchange information about 1031s. And this is where they pulled the information for the 1031 rule, the 45 and 180-day timing rule. So yeah, this is how
I know it well.
Right. This is referenced because when I wrote the program to come up with these analyses, I did it in a way that said reference all your accusations, reference all your information. And so it specifically spit that out as like not even my fault. I think we're done.
Awesome.
So thank you for allowing us to showcase this, Laura. Let's go see what ChatGPT came up with for this deal that Katya found. And we're almost out of time, aren't we? We're at 47 or 37.
We still have that deal
47.
that
What?
that Scott sent us last night.
Who?
The red suit guy.
I ain't interested. It's not in our buy box. So here's our buy box. And I keep telling people our buy box. Our buy box, as far as our team goes, is $1 million, 1 acre, and must do 40 to 60% ROI, period. If it's not there, move on. So, because again, we don't have time. The amount of money we make, we have to get 40 to 60% off every deal.
What's the location? Only there in Arizona?
The one that we got last night was out here in Arizona. It was a realtor that we met at an event. He's like, oh, I got this great deal in Acadia Light or whatever, and he got it for like 500, but like the highest you can get out there is 700. So we can run it if you want to, but I'd rather look at something that fits our buy box criteria: $1 million plus, acre plus, 40% plus. So again, I already know the profile that I have to have, what LandShark has to have. So let's roll through this. I'm sorry, you're already like halfway down the page. Here we go. Quick property screening, we can validate that. Perfect. The brochure, idea, landmark, marked as located in opportunity zone. Cool. Brochures, I2, county island call out, validated. That's validated. Before you rely on economics, it's important to check. Double check the map to make sure that it's in there, right? And it's the exact parcel and census. So opportunity zone boundaries got cut up very oddly. So saturation. Let's talk about saturation. It says here Tempe is a submarket. So the closest credible proximity to the zip code is the Tempe submarket. The Colliers Phoenix multifamily piece flags Tempe is feeling pressure with nearly 11% vacancy and heavy concessions tied to consecutive construction cycles. So Tempe is meaningfully saturated, meaning that right now for multifamily, there's high vacancy and concession pressure, which aligns with your instinct to avoid rushing into multifamily. Remember I told you that last night, Katya? Right? They just filled up, so there's no more room. Multiple sources show that Phoenix vacancy is also elevated. It's climbed to 12%, while the vacancy, I don't know what, you skipped ahead really far right there. All right, cool. In Q2, it showed overall vacancy climbed to 12. And then MGM claims that that's only at 8.5. So you can just decide to do in between there. But Matthews and MMG are both like, if you click on them, it'll show you who they are real quick. This is why we, find the data and let the data tell us what's going on. So this is a multifamily market report put out. You can click on it. We can look at it real quick. So just validating sources. It was printed back in July. Scroll through. It's showing us by the numbers, sales, cap rates, market price, all the way down. Shows us all the info. Market performance, right? So market growth, rent per number. And this is just, do the numbers tell you what to do, right? So I call that person back. So anyway, go back to our source, and you can see here, you can go read each report if you want to. In the LA markets, again, like vacancy is down to around 4.9. So LA is not saturated in the same way that Tempe and Phoenix are. So what that means is the comparison implies that holding off on development for more than 2 years. Isn't that about what I told you last night? Right. Not because I read this, like I didn't do any of this homework. I'm just using the 30 years of development experience that I have to know what to say here. The difference is that people that don't know what to think or how to do it because of the lack of 30 years of experience can now use this to hear exactly what I would say, right? So that's the point to using these GPT models, right? So you can take this information and use it. Like it's not telling you exactly step by step how to put money in your bank. It's telling you exactly step by step how to think so that you can come up with the plan to put money in your bank, right? Fast forward to the next steps. So we got to confirm the OZ track, confirm the county island, confirm the industrial, and then confirm that we want to convert this over the next 2 years, put it in a 2-year hold, right? So if we tell it the parcel GIS tract or the intended in term of the use during the hold, it'll bring back a tighter OZ viability screen. So, or simply a go, no go checklist. Go ahead and hit the dictate button. We'll tell it to do stuff. We're going to hold off on building any multifamily here for 2 years, but we want to put it in a pre-opportunity zone fund called the Land Stabilization Fund, sponsored by Titan Impact Group. Titan Impact Group would buy the property and convert it over to truck parking. And based on the size of the lot, it's believed that there could be a favorable amount of trucks being parked here. If you could calculate 50% of the total square footage space to be allocated to parking, and then knowing that truck parking is a 12 by 60 parking pad, give us the amount of trucks that could park here for the next 2 years, give us the net operating income of that, consider about a 25% expense ratio based on gross income, and then let us see what we could gain for investors over the next 2 years while we put this property into the process of becoming the next multifamily development somewhere around 2030. And so, I mean, we're if you do the math, you're like 2030, holy crap, 4 years. Guess what? It takes 2 years just to get the paperwork done.
Yeah.
So when I say 2030, I'm being like rushed. Like
2030 sounds further away than 4 years.
that's a hurry up. That's a hurry up time frame for something like this. Not only that, but while we're sitting there collecting rent on the property from truckers, we're talking to the neighbors saying, "Hey, give me your property. Hey, give me your property. Hey, give me your property." Because Katya is friendly like that.
She is.
Like, I'll make you rich. Come ride my Pegasus unicorn.
That Pegasus unicorn.
Yeah. So this is going to cook for a minute. How much time we got?
5 minutes.
Awesome. So the temporary parking situation for 2 years shows that we have approximately 720 parking spaces, or I'm sorry, 720 square feet per truck. So that leaves, I was like 720. No, that can't be right. Pad's only 177. That sounds about right. So roll through that down to the bottom a little bit right there, 25%. Keep going. Let's see what we got. So at 150 a month, we're looking at a 2-year NOI of $500,000. At a $200 per truck, we're looking at almost $637,000 a year. Keep going. And it goes all the way out. In that 2-year period, we have operational yield contributions in that 2-year period, and it's shown in the above. So scroll down, you'll see the implied value. It looks like what we'll end up with is the annual NOI at 250,000. says that our value of the property is between 5 and 6 million, Katya. So that's why they offered them $6 million, because that's really all it's worth at top end, right? But the guy that offered 6 million does not have the plan we have, right? So if we went in and told Guy, hey, Guy, we're going to give you 12 million, 6 million today, and in 2 years, 6 million again. You think he'd go for that?
All day long.
Yeah, definitely. Plus the other offer was 9 million and they haven't started, they want to do development and they haven't started anything. I don't even know.
Well, they can't do anything for literally 2 years. They should not petition the county for another 2 years, right? Because what I tell you, don't chase the development, make them chase you, right? So with saturation at 14% and it not looking like it's going to go down because they keep giving people places to build shit, at that point, I was thinking that this becomes better as an entertainment center area than it is a multifamily living thing. And here's why. If you go through the rest of this, we got like 3 minutes left. We're going to throw it a curveball. Go ahead and hit that button. Yep. So once we get through the 2-year period, what are some ideas that we can do on this property aside from multifamily that would qualify for opportunity zones, and provide me with the best 5 examples that would produce greater than 20% returns for our investors year over year, and end up becoming a very profitable business / QOZBP in the Tempe market. And so I use fancy words with it because it knows the fancy words, but QOZBP stands for Qualified Opportunity Zone Business Property, right? So the industrial flex park, we can create that, build it out with all these small bay development. Keep going down. Hold on one second. Good morning, Bruce. I'm in the middle of a call. Can I call you back in 10 minutes, please? Thank you, sir. All right, bye. Trying to get that deal done. So that's why he's calling. So industrial flex space, it can clear the 20% equity IRR conditions if, we control the buy, and then we go through lease up fast and moderate leverage that way. We can do the truck trailer service hub, meaning like could be the next step up from a parking space, because then they come in, they get mobile repairs, truck detail, like we'll clean their rigs and we'll clean their trailers. And again, I showed you how they can get off the highway, come through, wrap around, and go back out, right?
Yeah.
So making that circle like that is very important. 20% is possible. We can do data power optimized industrial, meaning that we can be an edge data center or an AI HP power shell, meaning that we create our own power and provide that to AI as backup redundancy, etc. So there's total 20% IRR there. Keep rolling. Self-storage, business storage, climate workshop add-on, and then light industrial last mile outdoor storage with containers and flex improvements. So all of these have the propensity to be 20% over. So again, we can build out any one of those. Go to the last one, please. The 5 best specific sites show right there and what it thinks it can do. Let me give it another crank out right here. Go ahead and let me know what the cost of building out each one of those could look like. Just ballpark it, and then that way, show me what the value of it would be in 10 years if we did it on historical growth of 3.5% annually. So we know that real estate grows at a specific amount. We say it's 3 to 5%. So I give it a 3.5. And what I can do now is I can get what's called a pro forma or a prospectus. And a prospectus helps me understand now how valuable this property could be in 2 years when we go to build what we're going to keep for 10 years, right? Because in the Opportunity Zone program, you must keep things for 10 years. Those assets have to be held for 10 years for this to be regulatory compliant. Some lawyers will suggest that you don't hold the asset in the actual fund. You start a company and then hold shares in the company, and that the company holds the assets because you can wash the assets in and out of the company. So here we go. So the growth factor, about 41% over 10 years is what it's given us the idea of. So the assumptions here are that the small bay industrial has an all-in cost 15 to 22 million. And where it ends up with in the future is about 20 to 40. So that's 1.4x. Go down to the truck number 2. Shows here that your value goes from like 8 to 16 million up to 13 to 42 million. Go to the next one. You got your powered industrial data center stuff. Right here, you're looking at, an all-in of 25 to 70 million and an all-out of 28 million to 155 million. So big path there. And then when looking at the self-storage, 12 to 20, exiting at 11 to 29.
You see that note above? This one can be a home run equity if only you can secure power. Otherwise, it's an expensive concrete.
I love the way it talks. It's crazy.
Otherwise,
Like,
it's just
what?
expensive
It's
concrete.
probably like a Tommy voice. Is this a Tommy voice?
I don't know, maybe. So it was designed by Catherine Bell. Keep going down.
It doesn't let me go any further like that.
Oh, well, it got stuck. So hit the X again, and then that X up there, and then go over here to there, and then it'll finish it there. Finish, please. So on the number 5, 4 to 10 million, 6 to 20 million. So showing your 3.5 annual growth. So based on that, shows the summary table. Scroll down. It shows your ins and outs. 1.4 on the 10-year factor. So everything's got kind of like a very conservative growth rate, right? That's where you're at. So in that regard, get on the phone, Katya. Let's start talking deals. Let's get an offer written on this thing, huh?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Before you close that out, let's go one more time in here because I'm going to share this with Katya. Go ahead and put together an LOI on this property and give us a list of the 5 things we're going to need to move into a PSA. We want to make sure that we are doing this under the land holding company that we have, the Land Stabilization Fund. We're going to need a plan of how this all comes together. But for now, we're going to come up with an exit strategy of buy the land, stabilize it with renters for 2 to 4 years, get it entitled, get it annexed, and get it ready for rezoning for multifamily to become the next multifamily development by 2030. In the Tempe market, because we believe historically that the saturation rate will drop by then, and the need for luxury multifamily housing will be apparent. So go ahead and put this whole plan together along with a downloadable LOI, and I'm going to be able to share this with our executive assistant and chief of staff, Katya Lindstrom. Oh, they dropped the D on you.
It's fine. It happens. I learned to be okay with it.
Right. Even with my teeth medicine, it drops it in there. That's crazy. So this will pull up. What we'll do, Katya, is when this is done, we're going to forward the whole conversation over to you, and we'll start a file on this that we then bring back and reintroduce over to the REI Virtual Executive Board. And the executive board will help us put together a purchase agreement that kind of covers the best way to buy this. And I really do think that if we offered the guy $12 million with a 6 and 6 breakdown, he'd be a fool to pass it up. And I'd be 100% amiss to think that, like, why would he do it, right? So we want to give him all the reasons to say yes. And the number one reason to say yes is because we're going to make it a win-win-win. We follow the Laura Miller plan around here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got some more meetings to get to. Orlando's here. We're gonna get, we've got a meeting today at, I think, 3 o'clock, is it? For the presentation of talking to vendors and coaches,
Yes.
right? We've got the list of coaches we want to reach out to for the Opportunity Zone Summit. I think that's a great list to start with. So I'm going to use that as the model today. And then I'll go in a little bit about vendors, but we'll get started on that later this afternoon. So right here, if you don't mind, click the download, because after a certain amount of time, it does not hold on to that LOI right there. Okay. And so if you want to look at it real quick, just validate, verify. It created it. It's bouncing down here. So here we go. Look at that. Boomity boom.
Really cool. Okay, I'll read through it and check it out.
Yep. We'll send this over to you, and then we'll get busy on trying to make those phone calls to get the offer started. Because we're not working with an agent, we're going to work with him. He'll become a transaction broker, and we're going to ask for him to be a transaction broker for us. If not, then we can bring a commercial broker to the table to work with us, because again, we want to make sure that we have protection as well. We will be incorporating our transaction attorney into the deal once we really get cooking. So, but we got to get the offer on the table. And then when we get to the next part, we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds like
Awesome.
Nice deal.
Good deal,
Woohoo!
Katya.
I remember when Catherine says that when a woman sees if she's qualified for the job, she has to get 9 out of 10, and then when a man does it, she has to get 1 out of 10, or he does. So I'm like 0.5 out of 10.
More than that, honey.
You're more than that.
You need to give yourself a little bit more credit than that, my friend.
You've got at least 2, because you have the willingness and the education that you're going through, and you've got the who that knows how.
Yeah, if you put down on paper the actual 10 things you need to get a deal done, there's only one of them that requires energy. The rest of them are all mindset.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the opportunities. So thank you.
Heck yeah, no, we appreciate it as well. And so we'd like to get moving along and having a good rest of our weekend. It is 10:10, so let's wrap it up on an angel number. Heavenly Father, we ask that you bring us to your glory. Help us make sure that once we meet our financial, our resource needs, that we believe in you for the rest. We know that you've provided us air, you've provided us water, you've provided us food. It is up to us to actually go and get it, eat it, and use it. And so from that point forward, once we're able to fulfill that and use the resources you've provided us in plenty, we ask that you give us the ability to move through the rest of them with the grace and glory of your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
So appreciate everybody. We'll see everybody on Monday. Keep your fingers crossed that we're able to close a deal this weekend. I think we're hoping that today is going to be a closing day. So let's see what things happen and go from there. Everybody else have a wonderful weekend, and God bless you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.